If you want to interview someone, will you interview the person behind this CV or will you interview the person behind that CV? Stay tuned as we talk about this and other common myths or misbeliefs in writing a great CV. Hey, what's up everyone? This is Salam Yagi from salamcareers.com, where you will find all you need on how to find and land your first job as a recent graduate, such as this video, and how to be successful within your first year of work experience. If you are new to this channel, consider subscribing. So, let's jump to it. Myth number 1, there is no human being reading my CV. Well, this is a common misconception. Yes, there will be a screening software screening CVs, but there is always a human being reading those CVs and screening them as well. Just think of this. Do you think that hiring managers will spend their time interviewing people that are only screened by software? Do you think this is worth their time? Their hourly wage is high and it's gonna be a waste of time and a waste of money to interview people that were only screened by a software. So remember that there is always a person reading those CVs, and this person will be screening them and then recommending those CVs to the hiring manager so that they interview those people. The process might start with the screening software, but it will always end up with a person reading and screening those CVs. So keep this in mind, as in my next 2 videos I will be talking about how to take advantage of both the screening software and the person reading your CV to maximize your chances of getting that interview. Myth number 2, include everything in your CV. Well, this is also a misconception. No one cares about a 2-week pharmacy job you've done in grade 11. Always make sure that you include relevant information to the job posting and relevant information to the job requirement. Such relevant information could be relative coursework or volunteering or competitions you've been part of or online training. Anything that is relevant to the job posting, include that, but don't include everything you have done in the past 10 years. Only the things that are relevant to the job posting. And if you think that your CV is too short, it's only 1 page and you want to add more information to it, consider taking online courses. With online courses, you have 2 options. You can either go with free courses on platforms such as EDX or Coursera, or you can go with paid courses on websites like Udemy or Skillshare. And if you do that, this shows that you care about your self-development, that you care about increasing your skills, and it is going to be really relevant to your job posting. So if you want to add more information to your CV, make sure that you take online courses and mention those. Myth number 3 is a generic CV is enough. Well, some people might be inclined in having a one-size-fits-all CV where they will mention everything strong about themselves and just ignore the things that are not strong and not relevant to their experience. And then they will be using this CV and throw it in every application that come across their way. And remember that there is a person reading those CVs. Even if that person reads the CV for 30 seconds, they can easily separate between people who are just throwing a generic CV to the job application and between people who have spent more time tailoring their CV. So make sure that you tailor your CV for every job posting. Make sure that your CV is matching with the job requirements and the job application. And the pro tip here, you will have a higher chance of landing an interview if you spend your time on tailoring your CV for 10 job postings rather than having a one-size-fits-all CV that you threw on 100 job applications. You are most probably going to have an interview of one of the first 10 jobs that you have spent time tailoring your CV on, as opposed to the other 100 where you are throwing just a generic CV. So keep that in mind. Myth number 4, aesthetics matter. Don't overcomplicate the design of your CV, and don't think that the design of your CV will matter and it will be a part of the decision making of who they will be interviewing. Let's jump to my laptop. I will pull 2 examples and I will explain what I'm saying. Alright, let's find 2 template CVs that we can take them to the video. So if I type CV templates in here and then I go to images, let's first find a CV that has a nice design. So if I skim through here, I think this one, yes, this one has a very nice design. Let's take a screenshot of this. Regardless of the content of the CV, we're just looking at the aesthetics of the CV. And let's go and search for plain text CVs and just take an example, like for example this one. This one looks fine. So this is just a plain text CV. We can take this one as another example. So we can take a screenshot of this one and then we can go back to the video and just talk more about these two examples. If you want to interview someone, will you interview the person behind this CV or will you interview the person behind that CV? Well, the right answer is it depends. It really depends on the experience and the relevant information written on those CVs. If that person here has more relevant information to the job posting than the other person, then they will interview that person. If that person has more relevant information to the job posting more than the other person, they will interview that person. If both of them have relevant information to the job posting, they will interview both of them. And if you see here, the design of the CV doesn't have anything to do with the decision-making process. It doesn't really matter. What matters is what's inside those CVs. So keep that in mind. And if you want to design your CV or not, it's totally up to you. So don't overcomplicate it. And just go with what you prefer. In my personal experience, I've always went with a plain text CV. I have never designed any of my CVs, and I have worked with multinational companies without even designing my CV. Myth number 5, a high GPA matters, or a high score at your university matters. If you graduated with a high GPA, that's great. Mention it in your CV. But if you don't swear it. Hiring managers, for the most part, will not consider a high GPA as a high criterion in their decision-making process. They will take it into consideration, but it will not be a determining factor. They are well aware that studying at universities is totally different than working in a company. And there are a ton of people who graduated with a very low GPA who outperform people with a very high GPA. A high GPA might reflect that you are a hardworking person and that you have studied hard in your university so that you get that high GPA. So that's a good thing, but a low GPA doesn't mean the opposite, and hiring managers understand that. So if you don't have a high GPA, don't swear it, it's okay, don't mention it in your CV and you will be fine. Myth number 6, a few grammatical mistakes are fine. Well, this is not acceptable. A CV is a professional document and recruiters and hiring managers will take it seriously. And it reflects if you are a good fit to the company or not. So make sure that you avoid having any grammatical mistake, avoid having any spelling mistake, and don't use chat-like language. Make sure that the language you are using is professional. And there is a high chance that you mention in your CV that you have a high attention to details. And you don't want that the first thing you submit to the company, your CV, has grammatical mistakes where you are saying you have high attention to details. This will contradict that, and you don't want this to be the first thing or the first impression you leave on that company. Well, that's it for this video. I hope that you enjoyed it. If you're still searching for a job, make sure to check my other video where I talk about best strategies on finding a job. And stay tuned for my next 2 videos where I will be talking about an important strategy, an important mindset when you write your CV to maximize the chance of you getting noticed and hopefully getting that interview. And if you enjoyed this video, make sure that you hit the like and the subscribe buttons. It means a lot to me. And until next time, I wish you all the best.